It's 2nd May 2019. Me and my mom are waiting for my CBSE results to show up on our laptop. I knew how badly it went for me as I never really studied with my full capacity, but something about that day was very fucking traumatic, nauseating. Like, if it goes wrong, I'll probably end my life and never be the guy who travels the world. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. It went wrong. Completely fucking wrong. I failed in my maths exam, barely passed in chemistry, and did very bad in biology, which was my favorite subject, by the way. I got 16 in maths out of 100. This made my mom and dad cry for the first time, in front of me, of course. And something inside me didn't feel right because I was completely lost where my life would go now after I found out about my result. Like, every time I thought about the future, I got panic attacks and I cursed myself throughout. Like, why didn't I take it seriously in the first place where I could have? Wish I could go back in time, stuff like that. So I genuinely relate to texts like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, can you help me out? As what happened after that day changed me forever. In fact, I went from acing numbers to making more money with no more than 6 months. Just 6 months of consistent work. Don't believe me? Well, just hear me out. Now, 6 months sound like a perfect title, but it's not easy. Let me be very clear. After spending over 50,000 on therapy sessions, I've come to the realization that it's not about me all the time, but about what I am surrounded by. And the first thing we need to work on is our network. A good reason why you're not making progress in life could be your network. Yes, I failed in my class 12 math exam. Yes, I didn't do well at all, but I did study the last 4 months of my boards here to make sure I just did enough to pass the exams. Which means I had the power to put in effort to make sure I get the passing marks on at least all the subjects. At least most of the subjects I failed in maths. So what stopped me from getting better marks? Of course, myself, yes. But one thing that literally drained my energy that year was my toxic group of friends. I was surrounded by people who never appreciated my work or kept in the constant pressure of criticism over me for no reason at all. And as I was a kid, I only had a couple of friends whom I thought to be my well-wisher. And that was the biggest mistake I ever made. Every time I had an opinion, I was questioned. Every time I chose to take a decision by myself, they'd ask me questions to why I did so. Having an entire control over my narrative and my choices. They would not only cut me off from the group, but play stupid fucking mind games which would keep me occupied and make me feel irrelevant and as a human being, as a person, which would of course make me feel bad about myself. And I know it sounds super weird, super toxic, but here's the thing. I allowed that to happen with myself back then because I was in the opinion that one who doesn't have friends will always be alone or some other bullshit back then. I was a kid, okay? And when I look back, my entire weeks were invested into bullshit which not only kept me away from my studies, it also got me in the habit of overthinking every decision I take in my life. So yeah, it was pretty fucked up. And eventually when I realized what I was doing to myself, I cut them off one by one, each out of my life. Most importantly, when I saw my parents cry, that was pretty fucked up. And a few months after, I found my co-founder on the first day of my college. As easy as it sounds, yes, first day. It was a freshers party. I saw him rapping to the song Azadi, and when we were going back home, I reached out, introduced myself and my love for rap music and how I wanted him to teach me how to rap like him. Simple. And this taught me a very key lesson that good networks aren't built by expecting something in return, but trying to be a friend in the first place. That's it. And yeah, he's also one of the biggest cheerleaders that I got into my life. And now I have a small circle of friends who don't shame me for shit, corrects me when I'm wrong, and help me get past limiting barriers. A task for those who are watching this video would be to reach out to your favorite creators or someone you are afraid to text. Do it. Doesn't matter if they don't reply to your text. Just shoot your shot for once and see what happens. The worst that can happen is they won't respond. That's it. And nothing else. Just let your ego go. That is what I did to a couple of people here who are here with me in Bali. Because you need to realize that if you're stuck in a network where you're not able to grow, high time for you to rethink your approach. And this brings me to the next point, which is prioritizing yourself. Do you know how much time people take to build a first impression of you? If you take 1 second and divide it into 10 parts, that's how much time a human mind takes to build the first impression of any person. And yes, no matter what you do, people will judge you irrespective of how hard you try. So in simple words, stop giving a fuck. Yeah, just stop, okay? Seeking for validation will attract people who don't care shit about you but only validate your feelings whenever you require them to. And I used to care a lot about how I need to change myself based on the opinions of my previous friends group, whom I cut them off of course, but I actually started making improvement when I stopped listening to other people's opinion. It's very simple actually. When you start taking care of yourself, you become a different person. It shows in your confidence, your facial expressions, and your physical looks. And I'm not going to share a 6-step morning routine, but only what has worked for me. It was 2019 and I had just joined a media college. And I was super nervous due to my previous experiences with my school friends. Nervous enough to not even try actually. But trust me, the way I put myself out there, irrespective of what I felt, actually worked for me. And I'll tell you how, okay? I applied for dance competitions, quizzes, any event, any shit that came forward. I wrote my name to it and I just did whatever they asked me to do. I auditioned for every freaking role. From fashion to music, I tried it all. I did all of this because I wanted to build new friends, new habits. I wanted to explore more of myself. Technically, this was not about changing myself, but it was more about how I could better myself in every way. I remembered I started speaking in front of the mirror just to make sure I don't screw up the interviews I got for my internships, or I don't fumble a class presentation just because I'm underconfident. I started taking extra courses to make sure I learn how to shoot a video as a videographer. Not only this helped me to score good marks in the college, but also helped me build a good image of myself in front of professors. People thought I was teacher's favorite pet, but I was actually trying my best to make the most of this opportunity that was given to me. While I was trying to be a better man, I did cut off my friends entirely. It was me alone, in a room, reading articles that made me more knowledgeable about photography and filmmaking. I didn't care who broke up with whom. I didn't care what my friends would think about me. I just didn't care about any fucking one other than myself. Surely when I look back, this led me to get my first internship within few months of joining my college, and also build a new network of people in an area where I was shit scared to even make a dent. Which brings me to my next point, isolating yourself. I know, sounds super toxic, super alpha male or shit like that, but trust me, it works. If you want to be a better man or a super successful person, the single most important factor is going to be the decisions that you take. Kab job chhodni hai, kab business quit karna hai, when you want to move out of a certain place, when you want to cut off this friend, when you want to sign a deal with a particular person, when you want to sign a client. It could be any fucking thing in any point of your life, but it has to be you, and you have to make that decision for yourself. And you cannot do that without a clear mind. But if you keep your mind occupied with people's opinions, you will always remain unhappy, okay? There were a lot of people who did not support me when I started my own journey, like I shared previously. And I'm talking about my closest friends, okay? The people who I was friends with so many years, they didn't even bother to acknowledge the hard work. But today, when I'm actually doing good with my business, those exact same people are cheering for me. And to be honest with you, I've realized this is how the world functions. When you're a nobody and lost in life and are barely making any progress, people don't care shit about you. The moment you make a dent, you change your financial lifestyle, you change your physical lifestyle, people start respecting you. For example, when I first got my job, I had barely any idea what the fuck is freelancing or how does it even work. But after getting paid for 2 months consistently, I decided to quit all my other internships. Even though a lot of people said me, no, Shagnik, have multiple sources of income, I knew the best way to deal with this would be focusing on one thing that works for me in the long run. And internships that paid me nothing wouldn't be something I would do for long term, because I needed money, right? Similarly, when my business made more than $10,000 in revenue, I decided to quit my freelancing endeavors and fully double down on what was working for me. The thing was, I realized that I was not afraid of failure. And when I was, I used to go to my dad. And then he used to tell me that even if you fail after taking your own decisions, so what? This is how you learn and grow, by making mistakes. And he was right. You fear initially, what if things go wrong? What if I go broke after this? What if I fail? But my friend, it's better to fail by taking your own decisions than just following orders of someone who is not even in your shoes. So yeah, that's the video. I was journaling for the 2 weeks and I found out these were the 3 things that stood out. If you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you're someone who is not making progress in life. And the thing about progress is, if you're not all in, you are all out. Thanks for watching.